Hi, Group 12 botanists. Today we're going to talk about trees. Trees are a lot like plants that we've been studying, the smaller plants. And there are so many trees, and they're just so amazing, all the different leaves and sizes of trees. And can you believe that an apple tree can grow from just this little tiny seed? Trees start out with seeds just like other plants do. And over here I have a tree. The roots are the same as on a smaller plant. And here's a stem. But the stem on a tree is called the trunk of the tree. And it's made of wood. A tree is made of wood. This is the trunk. These are the branches. These are little twigs with leaves on them, and I couldn't put enough leaves on here for you to see how it really is. So these are all the leaves, and I'll put this one on the outside here. And when the part of the tree that is the leaves is called the crown of the tree. So this tree makes food just like a smaller plant does. It needs water. The water comes up through the roots and into the trunk and into the branches and the leaves, and air comes into the leaves. Here's a big leaf so you can see it better, and this is those little dots that you really can't see where the air goes in and comes out. So the air goes into the leaves. Chlorophyll mixes in the leaves with the water, and the sun shines down on the leaves that have the water and the air and the chlorophyll and makes green leaves. Now, I wish that we could take a tree walk together. I was really hoping we could, but of course we can't. So I went around, I took a tree walk by myself and looked at the trees around the school. And I have some to show you. Here are some trees that I saw on my walk. I'm going to clip these on here. And something I didn't tell you yet is that there are two kinds of trees. There are evergreen trees. I'm not quite ready for that. There are evergreen trees. Oh, I don't have this in the right place. I have to move it over. Sorry. Okay, there are evergreen trees, and there are trees that lose their leaves in the fall and winter. Two kinds of trees. Well, when I first started walking, I saw evergreen trees, and it says evergreen trees here. I walked out of the office, I turned right, and I walked past the kindergarten, the outside of the kindergarten, and here are eucalyptus trees. A whole lot of eucalyptus trees. They're all around the school. I think that from room 12, if you go outside, you can probably see some back there too. Now, something else I didn't tell you that trees have is bark. On the trunk of a tree is bark to protect it. It's like a skin. And when I was looking at those eucalyptus trees, I found this piece of eucalyptus bark. It shows you how tall the tree was. This is just a little part of the tree that this bark came off of. But it's like skin, and it protects the tree. Kind of breaking my plants here, though. So I walked past the kindergarten yard where they're now building some more buildings, and I turned right, and I went on Tamarack past some condos, and I saw a pine tree. And I also forgot to show you something about the eucalyptus tree. Here, I cut some leaves off of the eucalyptus tree, the one by the kindergarten, and I also found on another eucalyptus tree flowers. Eucalyptus trees have flowers, and they have seed pods too. So back to the pine tree. These are the leaves on pine tree, and they aren't really leaves. They are, these are all stuck together here. They are needles. And your Christmas tree, if you have a Christmas tree, it will have needles on it like this too. They don't look like leaves, but they do the same thing. They make food for the plant. So this is pine needles. Oh, they smell good. And so then I walked back toward the school again, and I passed this tree here. It has seed pods on it. There are a whole lot of these little short green trees along the sidewalk on the other side across the street from the school. And I cut off a branch, and you can see these seed pods. And this is how the leaves look too. This is these green seed pods. If you are leaving school and you go outside, you can see those little short trees over there with lots and lots of seed pods hanging down. And in the summer, I find, when I park over there, the seed pods have dried out. They're brown and dry. They have seeds inside, and the seeds inside would grow another tree. But usually, when I shake them, when they're dry like this, they have seeds that you can hear rattling. And I use them with little kids as musical instruments. They rattle them while we sing or play songs. So, behind this tree with the seed pods, be sure you look for this when you go out in front of the school. Behind that is a palm tree. There are lots and lots of palm trees around Carlsbad. You see them all over. This is kind of a short one. I don't think it's very old. And here's another one in a house across the street from the school. This is a taller, skinnier one. It's a different kind, too. Another palm tree. Those are all evergreen trees, and I have one more to show you. This is a tree. I didn't have room I couldn't take a picture of all of the leaves on here, but this is called a fig tree, and I'm showing it to you because I want you to see how the trunk is going down here, but these are part of the roots. And this tree is so heavy, you can see how heavy the branches are, that it needs all these roots on top of the ground to hold it in the ground. I think that's so amazing. So we've been talking about evergreen trees, and I'm going to move this. Because there's one more tree in front of the school that I want you to see. It is a tree that loses its leaves. In fact, there are a lot of these trees, not just one. A tree that loses its leaves in the fall and the winter. There are lots of these in front of the school. I don't know if you can tell here, but they are losing their leaves. And they fall on the ground. And I've picked some up, and I forgot to bring them today, but if you go out in front, you'll see brown leaves all dried up on the ground. And here's why they lose their leaves. Here's the tree. Now we're going to say this is a tree that loses its leaves, not an evergreen tree that stays green all year. So, when fall comes, there's not as much sun, because have you noticed how dark it gets so early? The sun isn't shining as many hours in the day. So this kind of tree doesn't have enough energy to keep making food all winter the way it does in the summer and spring. So in the spring and summer, the air goes into the leaves, and the water comes up into the leaves, and the chlorophyll is in the leaves, and the sun shines down, and it all mixes together and makes these beautiful green leaves. But on this kind of a tree, where it loses its leaves, it needs to rest in the winter. It doesn't have enough energy in the day because the sun doesn't shine as long. The sun isn't shining on the leaves as much, and the chlorophyll needs lots and lots of sun. So the chlorophyll goes away, and the leaves start turning all different colors. Some trees have all brown. The ones in front of the school have all brown leaves, but some trees have lots of different colors, and they turn color because there's not enough chlorophyll in them, and then they start dropping on the ground. And so in the winter, the tree will have maybe 1 or 2 leaves that just didn't fall off, but it will be pretty bare because the tree needs the sugar that was made down in the roots. It needs that energy to keep living. It's just a different kind of a tree, and it doesn't make green leaves all year. So if you keep looking at these trees when you go outside in front of the school, wait until you see that it doesn't have many leaves on it at all, maybe no leaves. And then in the spring, green leaves, little green leaves will start sprouting out again. And I'll show you some. I went around Carlsbad and looked at in the village and different places, and I found lots of different leaves, different colors. Green, and some of them stay a little bit green. You can see these have a dark red, but they're also still green, but they're going to fall off of the tree. Here's a red one. Some trees have lots of different colors. Here's more. Look at those red ones. And so I went around and I collected leaves because, well, here's what I did. I pressed them, first in newspaper, and then I put them in magazines to make them nice and flat, because you are going to be making a picture like this with different colored leaves. Once they're dried, the color kind of isn't quite as bright anymore, but I think it will be a beautiful picture for a while anyway.